Well, it's been a little while since I've used that music, so I figured I'd give it a try. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you could be with us. Alongside Jan is with me
Hey,
today.
Steve. Hey, everybody.
So, we're here to discuss pretty much ways that we can put money back in our pocket when
Yes.
we go to the grocery store.
Yes. Steve, thank you first of all for having me. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Thank you so much for taking the time to be here, Steve, and I always appreciate it. The other day I heard on the news, and I go into it in more in depth. I go into it more in depth in a future upcoming video on my channel, which is the Save Money and More with Jan channel. And it was kind of disturbing to learn this. Not that we didn't know this, but overall, the prices of everything in the last few years went up a remarkably high 30%. Then I get into it in my future video. 30% is a big number. It's a big number. That's why Steve and I, we collaborated to decide to talk tonight or today, whatever time Steve decides to listen the video, about how can we cut down on a place where all of us have an opportunity to cut down. It's not like when you're paying your rent, that's a fixed number, or a mortgage, that's a fixed number. But we do have options where at the grocery store. And I know Steve has some wonderful ideas. Thanks so much, Steve. We'll talk about them.
All right. Yeah. What you said is relevant. And, I've had to readjust um, some of my grocery shopping. Don't get me wrong. I love my Publix. I love the quality, the goodness. It's the merchandise that they sell. Everything is, pretty top notch in freshness. But I've also had to go back and refigure some of my shopping too. I had mentioned this the other day in a video that Aldi through Labor Day is going to be lowering some of their prices on their stuff. Um, and I've got a couple of Aldi's, well, fairly near me. They're about 3.5 miles one direction, which is not terribly bad to go grocery shopping. But um, I know I like to go there and buy a lot of my canned stuff, my fruits, my vegetables, um, certain meats. Sometimes I can make out on. I also heard this is just around the way though. I got it off of a social media platform that both you and I use. That Target is also lowering their prices on some stuff too,
Yes.
to compete with inflation and high cost. Um, Target is slightly further out for me. Well, maybe not. I have one back this way from me, maybe about 4 miles. And then I have another one that's a little bit further out. But maybe I should consider going to Target. One of the things I do like about Target that some people may or may not agree with is sometimes Target tends to be a little bit not as populated or as busy as Walmart. So I haven't been to Target lately, but I should go and take a look for myself as a visual to see exactly what's been marked down. Um,
Yes, because I heard on the news, Steve, the same report, and it's supposedly over 5,000 items over time, and even throughout the summertime, I understood from what I heard in that report, 5,000 items are going to be marked down. So definitely try to get some information, go online, check circulars, and all the usual good stuff. Steve, I know you have about a few points,
I do.
bullet points you wanted to show.
Yeah, right. I'm going to go ahead and get into that now. But I wanted to mention, what I had, because if people that are Target shoppers or Aldi,
No, that was
definitely,
great. Thank you.
keep that. Right. One of the first, I've got five here, and the first one that I always do whenever I go shopping is I always check to see what's on sale. Now, coming back to Publix for a minute, I think Winn-Dixie, I think theirs may be on a Thursday, could be on a Wednesday. Theirs is a little different. But anyway, whenever a new weekly ad comes out at the grocery store, I always go and look at it. And I will go within, looking at the app. I have a way that if I see something that I like, I can add it to like a miniature grocery list that's automatically built into the app. And it tells you where it is, what aisle it's on, blah, blah, that tells you a whole nine. And then I'll go over the flyer and see what I, want to get. And, that helps me a lot. That's the first thing I do. My second tip works along with that, and it goes like this. Now, the second one, look for the buy one, get one free deals. And if a coupon is presented, if you have one, you can save even more, and sometimes you may get it for free. Well, I actually have a true story based on that. It's not recent. It's about 10 and a half years ago. I was at a Publix. This is when I lived further south. I had a coupon for cup of noodles, save $1 on 4. And I went in and bought 4. And I did the math. And I looked down. I said, am I reading this right? When I got to the register, they rung it up. It rung up 0. So I got it free. So I'm not saying always use a coupon, but if you're able to present one along with a BOGO, please do. You may not get it for free. You might, but you'll definitely put, some money back in your hand. I know that one of my wholesale clubs, BJ's, they offer their own coupon, but if you have the manufacturer, they'll take theirs and the manufacturer off. So 2, let's say for them, and then $1 for the menu. That's 3 that'll come off.
Amazing.
So that is of real help. The third one is really good, and I tend to do this. The third one, keep some form of a convenience food available in your household. Keep it, make sure you have it all the time. It's a good fallback. Because I highly recommend, and this is said many times, because it, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Make sure you eat something when you go to the grocery store. Don't go on an empty stomach. No, well, if you go and say, well, I'm going to go do a mediocre grocery shop, I'm only going to spend $70. If you don't eat, you might wind up spending $140.
You're not kidding, because people get hangry.
Yeah, because you're going down the aisle. Oh, this looks good. Or that looks, oh, I haven't had that in a while. Add. And then the next thing you know, when you go, oh, but I only came in here to spend 65, not 100. Well, that's because you didn't eat. You're letting your stomach, guide you, and because it's mental. It can be hard. But always make sure you've got some type of a convenience food in your home at all times. That way, when you do go shopping, you can have it before you go.
You know why else, Steve? I love that you mentioned, not to interrupt, but suppose there's a night you're tired or you're extremely busy. You have that grab and heat up food. I love that point.
Yeah. One of my convenience foods that I have, and I had a rain check for it, and in fact they just got it back in stock at my Publix, is the Boston Market frozen dinners. And one of the ones that I do like a lot, well, there's a couple of 3, but this was one of the ones I like, is the Salisbury steak with the mac and cheese on the side. And whenever I eat one of those, because you're getting protein out of both, but you're getting the protein out of your steak, and you're getting, your protein and your carbs from the cheese and the pasta over here. And that seems to work pretty well. It seems to cut off my appetite whenever I eat something like that. Because if you ever eat anything protein based, it's going to shut off your appetite. Doesn't matter what it
It
is.
does. That's true.
So if I can't do that, yesterday a friend of mine was wanting to go and eat out for lunch, but I wanted something to eat to shut off my appetite for a little while. I just ate a tablespoon of peanut butter. It did the trick. It more
It
than
does.
right. So that's number three. The fourth one is good too. Uh, Partially freeze meat to cut it in half, and you might possibly able to get thirds out of it, which means you can cut it twice and get three to yield extra portions. So when you go and buy something and it sounds expensive, oh my gosh, oh, but this pack of meat, it's $30. Ugh. You're having a little bit of, yeah, but I only get 3 pieces. Ugh. Yeah, but if you think about something, if you can get two out of each one, two, so that makes 6 instead of 3. So 3, into 30 is 10. But if you can go 3, 6, 9, now it's what, like 3 something for each piece. That's if it's thick enough, if you can do that. But always consider cutting your meat down, because I'll tell you why. If you have too thick of a piece of meat and you go to cook it, it'll be well cooked on the outside, but it'll still be raw in the middle.
That's right.
But if you cut it down, it cooks more evenly.
You're so right. I agree with you. Cut it across and you're doubling the volume. You could cut up into thirds. You could use that like for stir fries or for soups or for stews. I know it's getting warm out, or put it as on top of a cold salad. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And to those cooked meats and pieces on top of your salad, nothing wrong with that. No, Steve, the more you can stretch out, because meat is one of the highest priced proteins in the grocery store. So I see where you're going with this, and it is true. By utilizing the most expensive thing as much as possible and spreading out the wealth, if you will, you're giving yourself an automatic discount every time.
Right. Well, I was putting the price that I quoted. I was quoting, red meat, say ribeye steak or sometimes tenderloin, which that can usually run a little more. But again, that doesn't just apply on red meat, pork, chicken,
right,
turkey. Now I'll tell you one that is good. And if you buy it fresh at the store, is one long piece of salmon. It's a piece of salmon. And years ago, my dad would buy that at the wholesale club, and he would cut it up and get like 5 portions of salmon out of it. And then if you just want a piece of salmon, you just take it out, defrost it, and put it in the skillet, prepare it, or however you want to make it, and voila, you got your salmon. But
I see what you mean. Grab and go as you need it. That makes sense.
Right. But you buy, a piece of salmon, they sell it, one big fillet, and all you're doing is you just cut it down, and you just get more out of it. So that's, another tip I would throw in there, if anybody likes salmon. The fifth one, little bit off topic from what we were just talking about, but I gave it up 20 years ago. The best thing I ever did. I don't recommend it. It's not good for you. Diet is even worse for you. Diet soda is even worse for you. That's where I'm going with this. I'll show you what it is. Number 5, for health purposes, I choose not to purchase soda because it saves me money. Yes, it does. Instead, I buy seltzer waters like LaCroix, Polar, or similar. There's another seltzer water I do like when it goes on sale. I buy it. It's called Spindrift. And I did a review on it a while back. I would rather do that because one, you don't have all that sugar, all that sweet. You still have a little bit of flavor. It can be an acquired taste, but I gave up soda 20 years ago. I was going through a lot of health problems. I was going through overweight. I had issues with my right eye. Thought I was diabetic. It was just a small nightmare within itself. So I opted right then and there to quit drinking soda. Soda played a pretty good role in me losing weight because you've got all the high fructose corn syrup, the sugar. In the colas, you've got something called phosphoric acid. Many don't know this. I've said it before. I'll share it again. It's very relevant. Phosphoric acid is also a calcium depleter. So not only is it bad for you in the sense of that, but it's also making you deficient in calcium.
Well, can you imagine you're paying extra monies out of your grocery budget for something that's actually not good for you?
No.
You don't need the extra sugar. I thought I read somewhere where somebody's soda is like, let's say per can, Steve, or something like 8 tablespoons per can. Can you imagine taking 8 tablespoons of white sugar or any sort of sugar, okay, and putting it in a cup and say you're drinking that? The thought of that is revolting to me anyway.
I've actually seen what you said is relevant. It is correct. I have also seen sodas where you have 9 or 10. Remember something, one teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams of sugar. So think about something. That's 32 grams of sugar, what you just quoted. But I have seen sodas go into the 36, 38, 40 grams. Now think about, this is a 12-ounce can that you're intaking.
Yes.
If you think cola, Coke, Pepsi, RC, I know that's an old one, any type of your colas are so good for you, take a little small thing of cola, put it in about a 6 or an 8 ounce glass, and put a few pennies in it for a few hours. Go back and take a look and see what it does to those pennies. It'll take the tarnish right off.
Oh my gosh.
So if you think what it's doing to those pennies, think about what it's doing when it ingests into your system.
We're putting it in our system. Not great. Not great.
No, but think about what it's doing in your system when you drink it, if it does that to a penny.
Wow.
And another one, Coke is also good, or any cola. I know Coke is one of the top of the list, to use to unclog a drain.
Oh my word.
But that's just something I read. But I've gave up soda. I just stick with my seltzers. I
don't keep it in my apartment either at all. I don't keep soda in my apartment at all. The one time I might buy it a year is if I know I'm getting company for the holiday season or something. But for myself personally, no. But there's still so many people out there that, they drink it and it's just a part of their life. I mean, it can't lecture anyone, but we're talking about, and this main point is as far as saving money in our budgets, but to get the better, most importantly, also is the health benefit of not having it. So, yeah.
If you do want to drink something more soda based, I'm going to pass it along. You can get it on a certain website, very popular. In fact, down in South America, there's a river that shares the name of this particular website. It starts with an A and ends with an N. They have a drink on there called Izzy, Izzze. And sometimes you can catch a 24 or whatever pack it is on sale for about $16, $17 sometime.
Yum.
Well, it comes in apple, clementine, grapefruit. There's so many different flavors that you can get. I think there's a peach one. Well, anyway, you have all these different flavors, but it has real sugar in it. Real sugar. It doesn't have all that other stuff in it. So if you ever want to go back and have an alternative to soda, yeah, you're going to pay a little more money. That's true, but you're also going to get 10 times a better product. Look for that.
Real fruit juices are in that. That's for
Yes,
sure. Yes.
IZZE. It comes in a slender can. I know you can get them in bottles, but usually they come in a slender
I
can.
love it. I recommend it as just as much as Steve. Totally recommend it.
Yeah, so definitely keep that one in mind if you ever want to have a soda, but you want to go an alternative to it and not have all the, I'll just say it, all the crap that's in the other one. Because that's what it is, you know.
Correct.
So, okay, Jan, thanks for
having me here.
Sure. You know, guys, I just want to say thank all of you for stopping by, and you know, hope you guys tune in to us next time. And you know, I hope you guys have a great rest of whatever time of day it is. And we'll see you guys back here next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.